The provisional GDC license to practice in the UK without completing the ORE. You heard it, that's actually a thing now. So I made a previous video about this, I think it was about a month ago, and it's done quite well on YouTube for my standards. So a lot of people have come through that video, subscribed to the channel, which I really appreciate. But now there's an update to that piece of news. So before the previous video, which I'll link somewhere here, kind of outlines how the overseas registrants that want to be dentists in the UK no longer have to do the ORE, which has been a pain in the backside for a lot of people and a massive reason why a lot of dentists from abroad don't actually go to the UK. Then there were whispers about them getting rid of the ORE entirely, which was great news for people. And then most recently, it kind of got pushed into Parliament and into, the government, so to speak, as to how do we get rid of the ORE or make it easier for applicants from overseas to come over. That's actually now happening. So it's been approved in its early stages. It now sits with the GDC, which is the General Dental Council that kind of overlooks everything dentistry related within the UK. And they're now making the plans as to how to make this a reality. Again, like I said, it's been passed. This is like really happening now, right? But the way that it's going to work is the GDC will formulate a plan, right? And that plan will consist of how it should look for overseas registrants to come over, skip the ORE and get a provisional license. So the benefits of getting a provisional license obviously means, one, that you can start practicing within the UK and understanding how things work. That's note-taking, that's the type of practice that you need to implement, that's understanding how to work within the NHS realm versus the private realm, and so on and so forth. Working within a team environment and with staff that have been trained in the UK, for example, or know the UK standards, is going to be completely new to many people from around the world. So it is quite important to get this provisional license as quick as possible if the offer exists to you. Now, it's not for everyone because some people may want to actually take the ORE route and just get their fixed license straight after that. So it really does depend on what journey you're taking, what stage of your career that you might be at. I think for newer people, taking the ORE might be an easier route just simply because you're still fresh out of university. So tackling the ORE, which is something that's based on university education, should be easier. For those that have been in practice for a few years, maybe their sort of theoretical knowledge is a bit rusty and their uni knowledge is a bit rusty, then maybe going down the provisional route is better for you because it's more clinically based. And from there, paint a very good picture of how good a clinician you are. And in the future, it might be a case of the GDC will assess your work based on what your mentor says, and that might be a way to skip the ORE. I have no idea at this moment, and it's all speculation, but it's kind of how you would decide as to whether this is right for you or not. But overall, I welcome the decision. I think the UK is in a dire dental crisis, and it really does need professionals from overseas to come over that are of high quality and high standards to help the workforce and in turn help the population, because really it's in a terrible state at the moment. So we do need the help. Now, it's still in the works, so I'll keep on giving you guys updates whenever they come out. But from what I'm gathering from the articles that I've read, and I'll try to link those, there's basically a lot for them to consider. One, do they actually get rid of the ORE for provisional registrants? Or are they going to just use provisional registration as a temporary means for you to make money and gain experience while at the same time preparing for the ORE? So this is something of a grey area, and whether they completely eradicate the ORE if you take this provisional route, or they keep it there as a temporary thing, that's something that we still have to figure out. So we're just going to wait for that news to come out slowly in bits as it is at the moment. The other thing to really keep in mind is the GDC has made it very, very, very clear that this is not going to be a cheap process. They're the guys that have to be on top of the verification of your documents, your fitness to practice, whether you're good enough at what you do, etc., and to ensure that you can maintain your work standards within the UK, whether you're not good enough and that you may need to go back. They're the guys that are going to give you that provisional license and also be the ones in charge of how long it lasts for. So keeping them happy is everything. And these guys are the ones that are going to set the standards, and those whole procedures really do cost money. It's not cheap because obviously now they have to find the staff and the protocols to watch over and verify all of these stages. So they're not going to just sit there and say, yeah, cool, you guys can come over and register and all is fine. They now have to build teams that will be constantly supervising your development and ensuring that you're doing the right things to stay a dentist in the UK. This cost needs to be filled by someone, right? And at the moment, it seems like they're pushing this cost to you, which is, you shouldn't be surprised at this stage. That's how it works. So they want dentists that are coming over to be kind of paying towards this. And that in itself will be like the fees for provisional license takers. So you'll kind of pay a fee to be a provisional dentist, but obviously you'll get paid for the work that you do, but then you might be obviously having to somehow sort that out with your mentor as well, and there's mentorship fees, etc. So it's all up in the air at the moment, and it's very hard to kind of put a finger on as to what's really happening. But at this stage, the best way to see it is the likelihood of provisional membership or provisional licenses in the UK is now pretty much 100%. It's just a case of when that's going to be implemented. But the caveat is that you will be paying something towards it, whether that comes out up front or whether that comes out of your pocket when you are earning money. That's something else to take into consideration. But these are all the different standards that are now being implemented and discussed within the GDC. So I'll keep you guys updated as much as I can whenever I see any news that does pop up about this topic. In the meantime, if you have any questions or you want to get in touch, feel free to DM me at any point using my Instagram, or of course, you can use the calendar link, which I always leave below, to get in touch and book a Zoom call or a WhatsApp call, whatever it might be, to discuss anything. Completely free. I'm more than happy to help, and always feel like we should always give back to the community. This is the best way to build a network. So happy to help whenever you guys need me, and of course I'll update you when I can. So thanks for tuning into this one. Hopefully I'll be seeing you on the next one. So take care guys, see you soon, bye bye.